So, my friend, I want to ask you, have you been listening to some of my podcasts for a while and identified for yourself all the areas that you feel your business could be better in? Maybe you just are so busy you haven't yet mastered the working as much as you like bit. Or maybe you're just not bringing in the money, like you're struggling with the income, or it's just not enough. Well, it's time for us to have a conversation. In the show notes, there is a link to my evolution call. If you're a dance boss and you are ready to take action, let's have a chat and let's see where I can take you. Welcome, lovelies, to the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. My name is Deborah Laws, the dance business expert. My passion is to help you turn your passion into profit while guiding you to work less and earn more. I'm super excited to share interviews with you that I know will inspire and motivate you in your schools, as well as my solo shows where I shall be sharing some great tips and strategies. So if you love the show, please do remember to review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dance boss friends. So let's get stuck into the business of dance. Hello, everybody, and welcome, especially for those of you that are watching on YouTube, to my new office. So as some of you may or may not know, in the last month, I have undergone quite an exciting life change. My husband and I have moved to France. We've sold everything in the UK. We arrived a month ago, and the first room that I did was my office. I started back to work 2 days ago, and creating this podcast is one of the first things that I have gotten around to doing. So if you are watching on YouTube, and if you didn't know I'm on YouTube, go find me on YouTube. Please subscribe, Dance Business Lab. And it's quite nice, actually, especially with the interviews, to be able to watch the episodes. So anyway, welcome to my new office. Welcome to my new life. I won't speak in French. I actually can't speak very much French at the moment. But bonjour and welcome to you all. Okay, let's get down to some business. So what is Deborah here to talk about today? Well, actually, today's solo podcast episode comes off the back of a post that I saw on social media, and it was a post by Richard Branson. I don't think he needs any kind of introduction. We all know who he is. And it was about his company, Virgin Atlantic. And it just really got me thinking. I loved the post. I gained a lot from reading it, but I also thought about how it could be a great topic for the podcast. So what it said in this post was basically back in 1984, Richard Branson decided to create an airline, and everyone thought he was absolutely bonkers. Now, I think actually Richard Branson is a little bit bonkers. He might even agree to that himself. I've got lots of entrepreneurial friends that have met him, and I think he is quite an introverted extrovert, so to speak. You've got to be a bit bonkers, haven't you, to take some of the risks and do some of the things that he's done. But, he decided he wanted to create an airline, and everybody around him, his friends, his advisors, all said, forget it. What a ridiculous idea. Like, that's going to break everything. It's going to ruin you. But of course, in true Richard Branson style, he went ahead and did it anyway. But there's reasons that he did it. And that's one of the important things I want to talk about today. So what he said was he felt he was doing a lot of flying. And what he felt was there was a real gap in the kind of flying experience for customers at that time. He just felt like he paid a lot of money for a flight and didn't really have a very great experience. Like there were gaps in that experience. And that was the kind of the instigating thoughts, the thing that got his creative juices going in terms of, nobody does this, nobody does that. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. This isn't great. If I ran an airline, I'd do this. And he kind of sat and wrote a list of all the things that he thought an airline should provide, what the experience should be like. And of course, that was the inspiration and the instigating things that kind of made him go ahead. So one of the things that he talked about was, when you are creating a business or you come up with an idea for a new business, always come from the human experience, to come with the human approach rather than what could be great for the business, what could work for the business, what do I think people need? Like, what do the people actually need? And what he then went ahead and did, and forgive me if you're watching on YouTube and I'm looking down at my phone because I want to just read out some of these things. He became the first ever airline to put entertainment in the back of the seats. So before 1984, apparently we had no movies. Virgin Atlantic were the first ones to do that. They were the first one to launch a premium economy level, if you like. First ones to ever have an in-flight bar. First ones to have double beds in the air. Didn't even know they did that. First ones to have telephone calls from an airplane. First one to launch the charity donations, when they sometimes ask you for your spare change. And can I say the list goes on? First ones to fly across the Atlantic using 100% sustainable fuel. Like, these are quite big things, aren't they? They're not just little tiny tweaks. It's not like first ones to use sustainable toilet paper. Like, they're big things nobody was doing at all anywhere. And this one I love. First ones to introduce a gender identity policy, which removed the requirements for people to wear gendered uniforms. They were allowed to have the options. And the last one, first ones to allow air crew to have tattoos on show. So these were obviously things that he just felt strongly about, and that weren't there in this industry. So he then went about going and creating this. And that's where I think his rather eccentric, let's create anything if we put our mind to it, kind of came into it. But the reason I'm sharing this with you today is because I genuinely believe that there are probably some things about our industry, whether it's competing, whether it's dance colleges, whether it's the way a dance studio is run, whether it's examination boards, whether it's the way syllabuses are created, like whatever it is that you think, why is it like that? Why isn't it done like this? Why have we historically always had this approach to something? Because I think we should now do it this way. So I thought I would just share with you guys today the planners that I have produced for dance school owners, because these are flying out of Amazon like hotcakes. And if you don't have yours yet, then all you have to do is pop to Amazon and type into the search Deborah Laws, and all 3 books will come up. So the ultimate dance business planner I designed for you so that you had a little bit of a Deborah on your desktop. The planners are full of business training, tips, motivational quotes, things to do at the start of the month, things to do at the end of the month, ways in which you can plan out your marketing and your retention, and they are selling all over the world. So go to Amazon, grab your #1 best-selling Ultimate Dance Business Planner, and enjoy mapping out the growth for your studio. Like, I would love to task you with a really creative task here, to sit down, or even when this podcast finishes, if you're still driving, still doing your ironing, or still walking the dog, keep thinking about it for a few more minutes. What is it that you think we just don't do good enough? Like, what is it the dance industry where we could do better? What hasn't been created yet because nobody has been brave enough? Or what has been created that you think really should be transformed? Maybe it's just because it's an old way of doing it, we need to move forwards. Or maybe you just have, maybe it is a gender, trans, by LGBT, Q plus thing that you think this needs to change now in our industry. Like, just sit and really ponder. Like, you guys are so creative. You've got so much imagination. I want you to imagine what something could look like, what something could be, how something could be different. And then I want you to think to yourself, so if that's what I think should be out there, I could create, somebody needs to create, would make the dance industry better. I want you to think about, well, what if, just a what if moment, I was the one to do that? I know some of you have already dived into your, oh my goodness, I'm not a big enough person to do this. I couldn't possibly. Let's not go there. Let's not go into self-doubt. Let's stay present and have a huge amount of self-belief. Like, if I could do anything in the world and I could do this, what would I do? Even if you imagine somebody else doing this, imagine yourself telling somebody else to do the things that are in your head. I just want you to imagine, like, what if that person was me? What if I was the Richard Branson that could change that in the dance industry? And then the next little stage I'd love you to go to, the next kind of part of the imagination process is, so how could I possibly go about that? Like, where would I even start? If I was to sit and do this as a project, how could I map out what needs to change? Who would need to help me? Who would I need to get on board? What would need to happen first? And what would the gains be from this? Now, there's two types of gains. It could be for you personally in terms of, gosh, this would make me feel amazing. So it could be a self, not ego thing, but just something that really builds you up and makes you feel good. It could be a financial thing. There could be a huge financial gain that this could turn into. But the other gain, of course, is for the lovely ripple effect this would have on our industry, like the people whose lives it would touch. Maybe it's something that would make teachers' lives better. Maybe it's something that would make principals' lives better. Maybe it's something that would make the children's lives better, a better experience for our teenagers, a better experience for our parents. I really believe when you create something good that serves humanity, that it has possibilities and it has legs. Like, it can be more than just an idea. And when you know that it has so many beautiful gains for people other than just yourself, and I'm not saying that it should ever be just for other people. I think there should be an equal two-way gain from this. When you've got something like that, it can make it pretty exciting putting that out into the world. And it's quite ironic that this was a podcast I was planning a couple of days ago when I read this post, because I've also just recorded a podcast with the lovely Emma Bright, who has just done exactly this thing with a new business that she has created. And potentially that podcast is already out, or it's the next one to come out. So it'll be really close to this one on the playlist. Do go and listen to that as well. But I want you to really think about, am I ready for something new? Like, am I maybe ready for a bit of a new challenge? And could I just, is there any possibility that I could be the person to do this? It might be that today is a very first little gentle step towards creating something that you didn't even know was going to be created by yourself. I believe in this thing called whispers, which is like something sent from the universe that gently taps us on the shoulder, a bit like a feather that you find, or something unexpected that makes you go, was I meant to do that today? I want you to think that this is like a little whisper that might be saying to you, oh, have a think, because there might be something very magical in your future that you don't know about. I'd love you to just mull over this. And if nothing comes up for you, if you really struggle to even begin this thought process, then that's fine too. It's absolutely fine. Maybe there isn't anything Richard Branson, Virgin Atlantic, that you need to do in your lifetime. And, your focus 100% just needs to stay on your school and your studio. But maybe also there are a few of you that are thinking, oh, there's something in this. I need to think, I need to process this. I need to think about it. Because one of the things that Richard Branson did, of course, was be the first to do it. He was the first to do all those things that I read out. And when you're the first, you're always going to have the most impact. It doesn't mean to say that somebody else won't come along and do it later. Virgin Atlantic are definitely not the only ones to now have TVs in the back of their seats. In fact, I think everybody now has that if it's a long haul flight. But he was the first, and some of the things that he did will always be remembered. He's always remembered as the innovative company that did these things. So, it doesn't matter if you come up with an idea and other people do it further down the line, but be the first. How exciting could that be? How exciting could that be? So a little short and sweet episode for you today, but maybe a really massive, impactful one too. Maybe an episode that doesn't come to anything for you. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know if you come up with an idea, and I would welcome you dropping into my inbox, whether you email me at Deborah@dancebusinesslab.com or whether you send me a message on Facebook or on Instagram. Just come tell me. If you listened to today's podcast and you had an idea, please let me know. I would love to know what it is. Promise I won't pinch your idea. I have enough going on in my own life. And, not that I am just ready yet to share anything, but I will just drop a little teaser before I go, because I've actually done this exact same process myself recently, and I've come up with something myself. I say recently, about 6 months ago. I have come up with something that I think is missing from the dance business owner world. And I have gone from imagination to idea to concept to finding someone that can help me do this, to investing in this project, I'm going to call it. And I'm working on something right now that's my Virgin Atlantic. And I am very excited when it's ready, all in good time, to share what this is, because it has the potential to be huge, not just for me, but even more so for you, for every single dance studio owner that's listening. So I'll keep you posted as that develops. But just to let you know, I'm working on my own Virgin Atlantic. So you go ahead and see if there's one waiting for you too. All right, my darlings, keep in touch. Much love, and I'll speak to you all soon. So I wanted to tell you that this episode is kindly sponsored by Sally at Dance Studio Marketing, who is your go-to solution for growing your dance school through the power of social media. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at trying to attract new students, at Dance Studio Marketing, Sally helps dance studio owners just like you to leverage the power of social media and paid ads to bring in a steady stream of students, which of course helps you to achieve more balance in your life. So if you're ready to grow with less stress, visit sallyprendergast.com, or you can connect with Sally at Dance Studio Marketing on your favorite social media platform today. My clients are getting fabulous results using Sally. So let's get those ads going and let's get your school growing.